Hello, everybody.
Hey there.
Welcome back to another episode of Take 47. Today is episode 17, and today it is the beginning. Well, technically the beginning in terms of Take 47. Spooky month is now finally upon us, and I'm excited because horror movies are my thing. They are like my all-time favorite movie, like type of movie, beats everything. No, like everything.
Wow, we couldn't be more the opposite then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not my least favorite, but they're definitely not my most seen, that's for sure.
That's valid. I mean, the horror movie genre, to me, is really good and also really bad. Like, I think it probably has...
like the most bad movies?
Yeah, the most bad movies, because technically anything could be a horror movie. So... you know,
yeah, if it scares you enough.
Yeah. So we are going to kick off Take 47, the first Take 47 of October, off with a simple list type episode of sorts where we talk about an unspecified amount, of course, horror tropes or cliches that can completely ruin a horror movie. Now, I mean, anyone who doesn't know what a cliche is basically just
something that keeps happening over and over again.
Incredibly formulaic, no innovations at all whatsoever, and you get kind of to the point where the standard audience, the standard moviegoer can basically predict your hour-and-a-half movie in 5 minutes.
Right, because if you're setting up all of those cliches the same way, which often you do...
Precisely.
Just the simple clip of something is enough to trigger that part of your brain going, oh, I've seen this before.
Exactly. So, without further ado, let us jump into this. Horror movies are incredibly cliche. They are. Like, most horror movies are incredibly formulaic. They are the standard... Especially in the beginning with the slasher genre. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of horny, drunk, high teenagers, at like a log cabin or at a party, getting drunk, having sex, and then suddenly this killer just shows up and murders them all, and audience members love seeing horny teens die.
Yeah, it's a bit... I don't even know where I was going with that, but it's a bit of something.
Yeah. Well, those are the horror movies where you're rooting for the killer.
Right.
That's it. Like you're rooting for Jason. You're rooting for Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And
you want to see the carnage.
Exactly. And even though horror movies are cliche and formulaic in nature, there are movies, absolutely 100%, that have either a unique idea or a unique take on specific cliches. And if a horror movie is able to break away from a decent amount of cliches, that is like the pipe, like laying down the groundwork for a successful horror movie. Mm-hmm. So one of my examples of a cliche that like grinds my gears, completely annoys me,
brings your enjoyment to a halt.
Oh yeah. It is basically, if this happens,
you check out.
I don't finish the horror movie.
Yeah,
and it's the whole suspension of disbelief. How, and I said this in the car too, that I worded this better in my head. And
it's okay.
Yeah, it goes without saying here. I guess the best way to make this is like an example. Reasoning. Like, as to why. Why don't the characters just leave? Like, they're in a log cabin, and big spooky killer man is breaking down the door. They have the keys to their car. They can just go out the back or go out a window, get to the car, and drive off. There has to be a reason... in your horror movie, that, like, there has to be a reason as to why the characters can't just leave.
I think I understand. You're saying that, like, in most horror movies, there's such bad justification for why the main characters do the things that they do.
Yes.
And so you want them to have, like, real motivations.
Yes. Like,
and, like, a real humanistic way of going about things.
Precisely.
I see.
And, for example, there are movies that completely obliterate this, and do it like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just leave because Freddy Krueger is in your dreams. You sleep.
Yeah, he finds you no matter what.
Like, okay, that's good. Jordan Peele's Us.
Mm-hmm.
You can't escape because you're running away from you.
Yourself.
Exactly. They know exactly where you are all the time.
So see, the problem isn't that it's, like, really fantasy-oriented stuff and, like, unreal things. It's that in those unreal things, we still need an element of truth.
Yes, we need a reason as to why they just can't dip. And and if you don't have that, it suddenly becomes really annoying, and you just want all your main characters to die.
Yeah, you start, like, yelling at the TV.
Yeah, and
start
like
thinking it's
you
Super
want,
Bowl Sunday.
yeah, you want like a whole like Carnage type thing, and like that could be fun for a little bit, but at the same time, if you have a horror movie that you do genuinely care about the characters, and on the plus side the killer's still cool,
mm-hmm.
I think that works too. Like, I think that's why I like Jeepers Creepers so much, is because the
mm-hmm.
only two main characters in the whole movie have a really good dynamic between each other.
Yeah, they have a solid relationship with each other.
A good brother and sister, like they tease each other. They're both like decent people, and this threat, the creeper, who is, I think, super super cool, is coming after them.
You get to see how they deal with it together.
Yeah, you don't want them to die, but at the same time, you kind of want to see the creeper just like
you do
some really
them.
Cool stuff. Yeah, like. And I think that makes your movie also more memorable if everything on the board is memorable. If it's not...
Like,
if one thing is the only... Like, oh man, remember in Freddy vs. Jason? You don't remember all the character names because they're stupid. But in that movie, what do you remember? Freddy and Jason fighting each other. Or like... stupid one-liners that Freddy Krueger has and stuff like that. But that's like my main. That's probably my main cliche. That's my biggest pet peeve. If you make a horror movie and you don't give me a solid reason as to why they can't just leave, I'm not gonna finish your horror movie, and I'm probably gonna stop right when the carnage happens.
You ever walk out of a theater that was showing a really bad horror movie before?
I was on the verge of walking out of a couple horror movies. Last year's, or was it this year? I'm pretty sure it was this whole year, obviously.
It's a bit hard to decipher.
Yeah. The remake of The Grudge.
Was that bad?
This is going to be a little bit of a detour from the main topic, because this is the whole reason I really wanted to walk out of this movie.
Yeah.
Was because I thought it looked so good. And what I mean by that is I saw nothing, right? I didn't see a trailer for the movie at all whatsoever. And I was still working at the theater at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed up. There was only one person watching it during the day, but we're usually slow during the day, so whatever. So I walked in, and I kept seeing bits and pieces of the movie. I was seeing random parts from different like timestamps of the movie, and I thought, wow, this is actually kind of interesting. And I was convinced that maybe the movie wasn't as bad as people thought it was.
Oh no.
Only because I didn't see the whole thing. So I invited Griffin and I invited Tyler, and I said, no guys, seriously, like, I think this movie actually won't be that bad.
No one had fun, did they?
No. Let me tell you, we walked in and there were a bunch of teenagers in front of us, so like already I was like,
oh no.
Oh no, okay. We had 3 people in our showing leave before the credits, and then me, Griffin, and Tyler were both sitting there slouched in our chairs, completely uninterested in the entire movie.
But you really stuck it out.
Yeah, we did. And then at the end, with the stupid... Oh, that's another one of my cliches.
All right. We'll get to that when we get to that.
And like when it ends, Griffin just said, Are you kidding me?
that was his first reaction.
Literally, and then like we sat there, right? Because the movie does this stupid artsy type garbage where the camera sits on the house for a second and you're like, is something gonna happen? And it was a really drawn out credit sequence. You didn't even know.
Oh,
so you're sitting there.
You're thinking something's about to happen.
Yeah, you're sitting like 3 minutes and then all of a sudden it says directed by,
oh.
and I was like, oh my god. So then we just got up and left, and Tyler and
one
Griffin
last
said
troll.
to me, like, I felt so bad because every time like I invite Griffin to see a movie or like watch a movie in any way, shape, or form, it's usually a movie that like I genuinely like, and he usually agrees. The only one he hasn't agreed with much is Silent Hill. He just thought it was okay. But
yeah,
when The Grudge happened, I was like, oh wow, my whole reputation was just like
reputation of showing good movies.
Yeah, like I said to them after, I was like, I'm really sorry. The movie looked better than it was. I'm sorry, but regardless, the very, very, very funny moment. I've been close to walking out, but I've never walked out.
All right, good to know. I don't think I have either. Well, actually, when I was like 5 or 6, I think that there was a re-showing of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Really?
And, yeah, I went with my dad, and I think I got scared of Jack Skellington, and we left.
I love Jack Skellington. He's so good.
But, like, looking back on it, that's one of my favorite movies now to watch, and I'm like...
It is a very fun movie.
What was I thinking?
I do not know.
Whatever, that's besides the point.
But what horror cliches do you not like? Because this is fairly interesting. I'm
not very well versed in horror movies.
So I'm curious, like, your cliche.
But, one of the ones that I really don't like is just the overuse of locations. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like a lot of the same movies use... Just recycle the same locations. Oh, it's a haunted hospital. Oh, it's a haunted mental institution. Oh, okay. Like the bathroom scene or creepy basement deep in the woods. Like it's and I understand that like those things are shrouded in mystery, and of course they're going to be scary, and it's just easy to go with. Okay, but why does it have to be easy? Like we have an entire world.
Yeah.
And we keep using the same...
conventional horror locations.
Yeah, and I just think that there is more fear to be found in, like, the more mundane places that we haven't explored yet.
Either that, or I'd also argue a location that is incredibly explored. And what I mean by that is, like...
Oh, we just haven't looked at it the right way yet?
Oh, no, what I mean is more like a neighborhood.
Oh.
And that's why John Carpenter's Halloween was so scary, was because he was literally just, like, out the window. You could see him lurking around, like, every corner.
Yeah.
And he just walks into people's houses and kills them. Like, that was the scary part, because
that inspires fear and unrest in the people, like, that are watching that movie in their freaking living room.
Yeah, there's an aura of, like, disconnect with the audience, where like the audience is like, oh well, they're in an abandoned mental asylum, like, okay, like your house suddenly isn't scary, but when your house or a house in general becomes the horror location,
epicenter,
yes, that's when suddenly you're afraid to go to the bathroom at night, you're afraid to take out the trash at night and stuff like that. And if a movie does that, that's awesome.
It's just that the setting is so important. It's so integral, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you mess up that part of the movie, then the whole movie might as well be ruined.
Oh, 100%.
Because how are you going... If you don't believe in the location that you're at, or if you are just constantly thinking, like, oh, I've actually been there and it's nothing like this, then, you know, you're thinking about that. You're not thinking about the movie. That's the place where the people live, and you need to believe that people could really live there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just want to see new things.
I agree with that. It's one thing to have an unoriginal location, but a cool idea, and then it's another one to have a boring idea in a boring location.
Yeah.
It just makes it, like, incredibly lame.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I even will call out one of my favorite movies for doing this. Shutter Island. DiCaprio.
Oh, I love Shutter Island.
And
Mark
Ruffalo.
Yeah,
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Love that movie. That takes place in a mental asylum.
Yeah, and
I think they do it right in that movie.
Well, yeah, because it's still being used. It's not like an abandoned one.
Right, yeah, that's true. The abandoned adds a whole nother layer to the cliche, man.
Exactly. But no, that's very good. I completely agree. Another one I'd like to touch on is the one that I was just about to talk about when I was telling you about The Grudge. Yeah. And this one's probably right up there with movies that will make me automatically, or cliches rather, that would automatically make me hate your movie, even if I loved it up until that moment. The stupid ending, like the ending in general.
Yeah.
And I guess the perfect example of this is main character defeats evil, piano music, happy time plays, big sun's coming through the roof, like it's all happy and bright, and they smile, and then like the last 5 minutes, suddenly it's like, oh, they didn't kill it, oh my god, it's behind her, and then it goes credits, and then you hear like a scream, and then it's like, whoa, spooky.
That is such a cheap movie ending.
It is. And there are so many movies in this past year
that's taking the trash out and leaving it next to the dumpster. That's terrible.
Yeah. One of the biggest examples of this is, this movie was terrible, and if you actually liked it, like, you have...
Then your TGB disapproved.
Yeah. Countdown. You ever hear a Countdown? It was in the theaters for a while.
Is that the one that was on the train?
No. Countdown is the app that kills you.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so basically, the ending of that movie is, and to give credit where the credit is due, I guess, the main character basically tricks the entity in like a clever way, where she injects herself with something, but she wrote something on her arm so her sister can inject herself with the thing that'll save her, type thing. I forget what it was. There's more to it.
All right.
But like that was the trope, was that if you kill yourself before the entity does,
then you're fine.
Win. You technically beat.
So the whole movie was just a loophole, like, finding a loophole.
Yes, and she found the loophole and she made it out, and she did destroy the app.
Okay.
And then at the end, you hear her phone go off, and her phone, magically from the App Store, auto-installed Countdown 2.0.
Okay, so it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
All of the things that she did in the movie,
that whole movie doesn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, she's like...
Totally cheapened it.
She looks at the camera, and then her sister's like, what? What's wrong? And then it's like, oh my god, we're going to have a sequel. Stupid. So stupid.
Of all the ways to leave your franchise open... I'm sorry, your movie open to franchise...
It's so dumb.
That is not the way to do it.
They're always so cheap. If it's, like, the killer gets away, that's fine. But if it's... You have this whole subplot where you're like, yes, we did it, we killed the thing, and then, like, it stays dead. And this is what's so stupid to me, right? So... The climax, right?
Yeah.
It'll be in this mental asylum or something like that, or this one set piece. They go. They defeat the evil. And
all
then
seems
all of a sudden, the killer just waits a couple days? Like, they're all of a sudden they're sitting in their house eating pancakes, and then the killer's like, hey, I'm back, by the way.
Hey, yeah, it's like, never died.
Were you just sitting there, like, waiting for the, like, right moment? Were you waiting for, like, the correct weather conditions to make sure that your kill was, like...
He's like Tom Holland. He knew when to wait before he struck.
Like, it's so stupid. Like, the killer doesn't hesitate the whole time. Oh, well, that actually just segues into another cliche that I'll touch on later, but
look at that, we got so many.
I know, right? What about you?
What about me? All right, here's mine, is that I don't like it when they don't balance the character's power. You know what I mean? Like when the main villain is like really fucking, oh gosh, is really strong.
Language call.
I'm so sorry.
This is a family program.
I'm so sorry.
Continue.
The main villain is really strong, and like all the main protagonists are like, you guys, we gotta run away. We can't fight him here. Like, oh gosh, he's gonna beat us up, and we no, and so they run away. And then they come back, and the villain, like, I don't know, steps on a pebble, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's our chance now, we can kill him. And it's like, no. 5 seconds ago, he was too powerful.
Yeah.
Why did that change? Because he, like, I don't know, raised his shoulder. He doesn't have an Achilles armpit.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't have, like, wasn't that the problem with It Chapter 2? Is that, like, Pennywise all of a sudden wasn't nearly as strong as he was in the first one? And, like, the kids just killed him with ease because I don't even know?
Like, it is really funny because, like, you'll have like in It, yeah. I mean, the whole movie, he's slaughtering kids left and right, and he's toying with the losers, and then right at the end, when he's in his final form and is getting ready to kill Mike, all of a sudden he's like, "You're stupid."
Right.
And then the clown is like, "What? No! You got me, my weakness!" And then they just keep making fun of him, and making fun of him, and making fun of him.
Yeah, I think that's just lazy.
Like, really?
At that point, it's just, I totally check out, and it's like, alright, cool. All of the other stuff that they didn't matter because I guess they just found his weakness, and now it's done.
But if I remember correctly, in It Chapter 1, didn't they make fun of him? Like, not a lot, but didn't they throw some shade at him before?
Pretty sure they did, and I'm pretty sure they were at the ending, and he was fine.
Yeah, he was perfectly fine. Like...
So yeah.
Because they kept calling him a clown, right?
Yeah, that's a huge continuity error.
And Finn Wolfhard, in the first one, pardon my language again, he goes, "I'm going to have to kill this fucking clown."
Mm-hmm.
But Pennywise at that moment should have been, What? What?
Yeah, why'd you say that? Words can hurt, you know.
It's so dumb. It is incredibly stupid. I absolutely agree with you. And that kind of, I just drew a blank on the cliche I was talking about.
Oh, you just had it.
I know, because it was similar to what you were just saying.
Oh, okay. You were talking about Countdown, and you were talking about how the villain just comes back after like 3 days and was waiting for the right time. And...
I can't remember the cliche because you got me so flustered with It.
Ah, yeah, I know. Like, It Chapter 2 was a tragedy.
Yeah, how incredibly disappointing the ending of It Chapter 2 was in, like, the second half of the movie. God, that movie was terrible. I'm so sad. So disappointing. Now I have to wait another, like, 20 years.
Before they try to make it again. Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Another thing that does annoy me a lot, it's not the one that I remembered. Maybe that one will come back to me. Maybe it won't.
Maybe.
The overuse of jump scares. But not just any jump scares. Fake out jump scares.
You had to sit up for that.
Yeah, I did. Because you got... Brad is over here making out with Jennifer, right? Like,
yeah.
They're making out behind a tree.
It's hot. It's steamy.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, some really bad teenager dialogue and stuff, right? Like... terribly written, whatever, because the people who wrote the script have no idea what teenagers actually sound like.
Yeah, they're the people that are like, "Hey, big bro. Hey, big sis."
Yeah, like...
Wait, why did I make the sister sound like that?
Some real, Wonder Bread type dialogue. And then all of a sudden, Brad... I think that was the name I picked, right? Wasn't that the name?
Yeah, Brad and Jennifer, I think.
Brad and Jennifer, right? They're making out, and all of a sudden, Brad hears a twig snap, and it's like, whoa... What's going on? I'm gonna go check it out alone. And then Jennifer's like, no way!
Yeah.
It's probably just a bird or something. And then he goes behind a tree, and it's all of a sudden his friend John, and he's like, hey, I got the beer! And it's like a big, bang noise to make it a jump scare, and then the audience is like, oh my god, this movie's so scary! Let me tell you something, Chief. Jump scares aren't scary. Alright?
What are they?
They are a reaction.
A reaction.
It is a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not a, oh my god, this movie's so scary. No, it is... Cole, if I were to throw a punch in your face, but not hit your face, you'd react. You'd flinch.
Yeah, I would flinch.
Because it's something jumping at your face.
Mm-hmm.
It's a normal, natural human reaction that if something flies at your face, you're gonna duck, flinch, react in some way. Yeah. That is the cheapest way to, quote-unquote, scare
the
someone.
audience, right. Yeah.
I'll say like if you have a game like, for example, like Five Nights at Freddy's,
built around
it's
jump scares.
It's fun. It's not scary.
Yeah, I think.
Per se.
I mean, I played Five Nights at Freddy's, and it kind of lost the magic and the scariness after 20 or so playthroughs. When
like it's fun when you're playing, because it's like, you got me, damn. But like when you're watching a horror movie where you can't control, like there's no you playing anything, so you're just sitting down staring at a screen. You're just watching. Fake out jump scares and jump scares in general are the cheapest way to scare someone if you sprinkle them out here and there. If you use them like once or twice in your movie, okay, that's fine.
You know what I like is when they use like the jump scare cue music, and so you like feel it building up in your stomach, and you're like, it's gonna happen. All right, I know there's gonna be a jump scare, and then there just isn't.
And then they turn around and there is?
No, then there just isn't, because then you just imagine a whole bunch of scary things. And you're like, God, when's it going to happen? And then it doesn't happen. I mean, I don't know. I think it's creative.
But no, that's creative.
Yeah.
And the example that I just used
is very
also a thing that happened as well.
Yeah.
Like, they turn the corner and they see, like, a chipmunk. And they're like, oh, it was just a chipmunk. And then he turns around and
then there is a guy with a knife.
Like, and, like, it's...
That can be fun. But it's cheap, more often than not very cheap. Yeah,
like it's always done in the most like boring ways possible. It's unimaginative, and unfortunately, it's because these big studios, Blumhouse is the biggest friggin'.
What was the one that they did with the video chat and the?
Blumhouse has done everything. Now. They have Halloween now. They have they have a bunch of franchises. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they did Countdown as well. I'm surprised. They did what, Unfriended? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that was them, right?
I'm pretty sure it was.
All right. God, what a bad movie.
Then they had another one that was just like that too. Friend Request or something like that. Something stupid.
Yep.
No, like that stuff is so stupid.
It's like bottom of the barrel Walmart bin when you're going for movies.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying the idea of a jump scare is bad. No, but if you use that as the only way you can scare your audience, that's some lame sauce writing right there.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I can't scare my audience. I just can't scare them. Like, the best example of this is Jaws, right? So Jaws, it really isn't a horror movie at all. And Steven Spielberg liked the floating head coming out of the boat scene, and he liked it so much, and he saw the audience reaction, and he got a kick out of it.
I did get scared at that part.
Yeah, he was like, that's
I still
awesome.
do sometimes.
He goes, you know what? I'm going to do that one more time because I love seeing their reaction. And that's when Chief Brody is chumming the boat and the shark jumps out of the water.
Jumps out, yeah.
That's it. Like, he just went, that was really funny. I liked that reaction. Let's do it again.
It was tasteful.
Yeah. And that's a perfect example. It's the director's, like, mentality for making a horror movie is, if I'm going to make a horror movie and they don't react to it, it's a failure. No, it's not. It's not at all. Like, A Quiet Place didn't really make... Like, I didn't have a lot of reactions to it. That doesn't mean that I didn't hate it. I love that movie. Like, come on. You sprinkle them out a little bit. Alien did it. Alien has a jump scare, like 1 or 2 times. And it's done in a way that's tasteful. The Thing has jump scares. And it's done tasteful as well. It's one of the best horror movies ever made.
Right, so we're not saying that it can't be done.
Yeah, exactly.
Just that if you're going to do it, then you need to have a reason to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
More than this is going to be the primary way to scare my audience.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%. I guess for like the kind of closing cliches and stuff. Do you have another?
I got one more.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Let's hear it. I'm excited.
It really annoys me when like a main character's weakness is just that they are clumsy.
No.
You know what I mean?
You're
like
about like just character stereotypes in general. Or
I'm talking about like you're running through the woods, the killer's chasing you, and the reason that he gets you is because you trip. I'm talking about you're running and you're about to call 911, and the reason that you don't is because you drop your phone. I'm talking you're running from the killer and you're at your house, and the only reason you're not inside of it is because, oh no, where's my keys? And it's like, yes, I understand. People are clumsy and these things happen.
Yeah, in the moment, right.
But if that's the only way that you can find for your killer to succeed in killing, they're not a very good killer, are they?
No. Not at all, actually.
So why the heck do we keep putting that in movies? It just doesn't make sense.
It's lazy writing.
It is lazy writing. That's all what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah, most of these...
Lazy
that's
writers.
exactly what a cliche is. It's lazy writing. And if your whole movie is littered to the brim with cliches as opposed to using one or two, because, I mean, cliches are... No matter what, you're gonna bump into one. Because,
It's hard not to.
Yeah, it is.
A cliche comes out of like a really like a really cool thing that someone did that comes popular, and then it just kind of trails off as overused. And
the mere every genre is a cliche. A horror movie will, no matter what, be a cliche. A threat chasing, good and evil.
Right, we've seen that before. Absolutely.
Like the entertainment industry and just stories in general are built on cliches. We're not saying that you absolutely cannot use these cliches or your movie is automatically bad. We're saying...
Know when to use them. Have a plan.
Yeah.
And then execute that plan with care. Just make sure everything fits.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good point when you bring it up, because it's like Scary Movie, when they're making fun of it in the beginning, when the girl is running... out of her house, and there are two signs that say safe way and dangerous way, and she runs the dangerous way.
Yes, yeah.
Her table has a bunch of weapons. It was like a baseball bat, a gun, and a banana.
And she goes for the banana, yeah.
And then she trips and falls and stuff like that. And it's 100% true. It really is, because now you're not like, oh my god, get out of the way, oh my god. It's okay, you're laughing. You're laughing at their failures. They're like, oh my god, help me, trip. Oh my god, I gotta get up, trip. Oh my god, I gotta get up, trip. Yep. And it's like, oh my god, this is bad. Because it's more effective if the killer is just good, and then the characters aren't stupid.
Why can't the killer just be really good at what he does?
Yeah, exactly. You can have someone who... And I like this in some horror movies, where sometimes the smartest character just gets chopped. No matter what.
They have a trump card and it gets thrown away because the killer is really good.
Yep, it's doesn't matter. I got this to work with, and he's that's cool, because it's and that happens in movies like Saw and stuff. There will be people who beat the trap, and they did it. They outsmarted him. But no matter what, it was a rigged trap, and they're dead anyway.
You were never meant to win.
Yeah, so it's like a god damn it, really? You just did that. And in those moments, the audience members feel just as defeated as the characters who just technically outsmarted the antagonist, but still didn't win. And that can be really good. That's not a bad thing at all. So yeah, we just wanted to take a moment, take an episode, since it is Spooky Month.
Spooky Month.
To just kind of talk about the stuff that can make your spooky movie suddenly not so spooky, and it just turns into a comedy full of horny, clumsy, dumb teenagers, or just lazy killers.
There's a lot of lazy killers out there.
There are a lot of lazy killers, and there's a lot of horny, dumb, clumsy teenagers.
A lot of horny, dumb teenagers.
When your whole cast is, what's this guy? Oh, he's the nice guy, but he's still horny. That guy, he's the jock, but he's horny.
Oh, but he's horny.
Who's that girl? She looks nice. Oh, yeah, but she's horny, so she has to die. It's oh, okay. Cool. And,
gosh.
Yeah, that's just it's funny. Horror movies are still great, though. I love them.
Yeah, let us know how you feel in the comments below. If you have any cliches or tropes that we didn't talk about, or if you disagree with ours.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Take 47, and as always, we will see you next Tuesday.
See ya.
Peace out.